Alright, so we're back for another UFC card. Now, I will put it out there. I apologize. My picks last week, I said that I wasn't super confident on that card, and I was right to not be super confident. There was some really tricky fights in there. Uh, I've been pretty consistently good with predictions, but this is the first time I was on I wasn't the worst predictor, but I was on the list. Like I'm normally at the top, and this time maybe I took a few risky picks that didn't play out, but that's all right. I did lose a few subscribers after that, so that's a bit of an exaggeration. I feel like to unsubscribe over my picks, but yeah, it is what it is. The real ones will stick. The real ones will stay around, I guess. But anyway, let's get into it. First fight of the night: Muhammad Usman versus Hamdi Abdullah. Now, this is a very interesting fight because I could see this going both ways. Like, I feel like Mo Usman could definitely win this fight. He's bigger, but like at the same time, he's just been shown to just just been pretty bad. Like Hamdi didn't easing against Jamal Pokes, but at least in the first round, he'll always have a good first round. I can see him finishing Mo Usman, so I'm gonna go Hamdi. I'm not super confident on this pick. I hate heavyweight fights like this, but I'll say Hamdi is able to get this one done over Mo Usman, but it's an absolute goat off. Then we have Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksam. I'm going to go with Tagir Ulanbekov. I don't rate Azat Maksam at all. Lost to Charles Johnson. Arguably lost to Tyson Nam. Like I don't rate him. I thought he was the worst of the two Kazakhs flyweights. Between him and the guy who fought Cape. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And I don't even rate the guy who fought Cape either, but I thought this Maxam guy was even worse. So yeah, I'm gonna go to Tagir Ulanbekov to get this one done. He beat the other Kazakh guy as well, and he's a very good prospect. If you can even call Tagir Ulanbekov a prospect at this point, he's ranked. So he's got some good wins. He arguably beat Tim Elliott, even though he lost because of some fouls as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go Tagir Ulanbekov. Then we have Arana Aksavina Ziva versus Claudia Segula. Now, I need to remember who these ladies are because I do not remember what they've done in their careers. I'm just going to double check. Okay, this is the Russian Ronda. Okay, so they're both coming off a loss to Melissa Mullins, I believe. Mullins. Awesome, that helps narrow this down a bit more. Uh, I mean, she subbed Stephanie Egger, which is a pretty good win. Egger's not too bad. She beat Alien Perez, so yeah, I don't know. I'll go with the Russian. I'll go with the Russian to win this. I hate this fight. I'm gonna go with the Russian Ronda to win. I'm gonna go with Arena Alexieva to win. Then we have another women's fight. Oh, here comes the mother. Here comes the big mum. We have Melissa Mullins versus Diana Zulakova. What did this woman do? Who did she lose to? She lost to Alien Perez. Oh, she's already fought Melissa Mullins. Okay. Well, that makes it a bit easier, I guess. I'll just go with Mullins. She's shown she can beat her before. It's not really too much time between the fights. Mullins is. I think she's coming off some momentum. I want to say she's coming off a win. Yeah. Who was her lost to? To Nora Karolini. And I don't think she's too bad. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's just go with her. We'll go with Mullins again in the rematch. What a fucking a bunch of fights to pick. Okay, now we got Ismail Nordia versus Junj Young Park. Now, Ismail looked very good in his fight, but in his return to the UFC, but it was against Bruno Silva. And at this point in time, we're going to realize Bruno Silva's awful. Like he's been broken since the Alex Pereira fight. He was coming off a loss to Brendan Allen, Shara Magomedov, Chris Weidman. After that, he got absolutely chinned by Marc-Andre Barriol. It was a good performance by Ismail. Don't get me wrong. He was piecing him up, beating him up, but like, yeah, you can't really rate that win over Bruno Silva at that point. Unfortunately enough. And the Iron Turtle's on like a good streak. I don't actually understand this matchmaking, to be honest. I feel like this is a big step down for the Iron Turtle. He beat Brad his last fight, I want to say. Yeah, he did. Beat Brad Tavares. Arguably could have beat Andre Muniz. Beat Duraev. Beat Dennis Chulin, who's not great. Beat Joseph Holmes, who's not great. Beat Eric Anders is alright. He was actually hurting Gregor Rodriguez in that fight. Beat Tafon and Chikwi. Beat John Phillips, not great. Beat Marc-Andre Barriol. Lost to Anthony Hernandez, but that's Anthony Hernandez. He's not a bad fighter. Like, he really isn't a bad fighter. Never knew he fought for Hex. Crazy. And then one of his losses, the Shavkat Rakhmonov. He beat Ray Cooper. He beat Ray Cooper the third. So, like, he's got a lot of good wins. I rate him more than Ismail, I reckon. So I'm going to go the Iron Turtle to get this one done. And he can wrestle. He can grapple. Like, Ismail Nordiev can get chinned or he can get out-wrestled. And I think John Yon Park will be able to out-wrestle him here. He's also fighting at middleweight when he is a natural welterweight. I mean, both of these guys former welterweights, so can't use that too much in the reasoning here. He did fight in middleweight, so it wasn't like he just got like a short-nosed call and he's just stepped up to middleweight. He was fighting at middleweight in the regional a few times. He was fighting at welterweight and middleweight. Yeah, I do. I like Bruno Silva. Oh, not Bruno Silva. Jesus Christ. Oh, getting flashbacks here. I'd like John Young Park to win this one, so I'm going to John Young Park. Then we have Sok Hayon KO. I don't know how I would pronounce that, so I'll just say KO. Ko? Would it be Ko, maybe? K? I don't know. Versus Oban Elliott. I like Oban Elliott. I don't really rate this Ko guy too highly. I didn't think he looked particularly great on Dana White Contender Series. Yeah, I like. He lost to Sasha Platnikov. That's not a good look. I know that's ages ago, but like, I don't know. That's not a good look. I reckon Oban Elliott will be able to chin Kozo. Yeah, I reckon he'll be able to chin Ko. I reckon he's got the power. If Ko tries to wrestle, Oban Elliott's got good takedown defense. Oban Elliott's not got the greatest chin either, so it is a worry that maybe he can get caught. He's been put out twice. But I think he's like coming into his own a little bit. He's got a bit of time to prepare for this. They were both meant to fight a couple weeks ago, but now they're scheduled against each other. They're probably fully prepped for each other at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna go Oban Elliott to get this one done over Ko. Then we have Muhammad Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. I am gonna go with Muhammad Naimov here. Bogdan Grad's good, but I just see him getting chinned. He didn't look particularly great against either of his last two opponents. Smoked by Tom Nolan, at lightweight. But Lucas Alexander, he didn't look great in that fight. He was losing before he got the finish, and Alexander's got no durability at all. Against Michael Aswell, he arguably lost that fight. It was close. It was very close, but like he could have arguably lost that fight. And then he beat like Cans, like not great levels of comp. So I'm going to go Muhammad Naimov. He's not particularly great either. He actually didn't look that great against Khan Offley. He was hurt in that fight. But, I think he's just a bit more UFC level than Bogdan Grad. So I will go with Naimov here. He was getting wrestle fucked by Jamie Malarkey and clearly losing until he caught him. But at the same time, it was upper weight class. Naimov is a former bantamweight, I want to say. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I think I probably am wrong on that. But he's a featherweight. He's definitely a natural featherweight. So I'm going Naimov to beat Bogdan Grad. Then we have Nassim Sadikov versus Nicholas Motta. Now, I feel like this fight is a lot closer, and a part of me really wants to pick Motta, just because he's been on a good tear, he's powerful. But I do think Nazim Sadikov show he's pretty durable himself. He's got a good chin, and that is what Motto's. If Motto is to win, it is going to be with the KO. I think Motto's on he's on a really good streak of things. Tom Nolan's a really good win. He beat Mahashate in a dominant performance. I do think most times out of 10, Tom Nolan beats Motto. I'm just going to put that out there. Say I'm coping all you want, but yeah, I'm gonna put it out there. But I think Nassim Sadikov will get this one done. It's in Azerbaijan, so even if it's like a close fight, they'll probably just give it to him. And yeah, they obviously want to give Nazim Sadikov a winnable matchup in his. I don't know if it's his hometown, but it is his home country. That's for sure. He's Azeri. Yeah, it doesn't say where he was born, but obviously he's fighting in Azerbaijan, country of origin, and they're going to want to get Nassim Sadikov a big win to make the Azeri crowd happy. Then we got Maidabak Orobai versus Tafik Masayev. I'm going to go with Maidabak Orobai. I just don't think Tafik is that great. He's not bad. I'm not going to say he's like a bad fighter, but he is a lot older. He's coming off, he had some pretty stinky performances of late. Like, he is probably past his prime. Like, he did get finished by Alexander Shabli. I know Shabli's like really hyped up and everything like that, but that fight was awful. I watched it live. Yeah, he didn't look very good. I think this guy's in PFL, right? Yeah, he lost to this dude who just got subbed in PFL. But yeah, I don't know. Tafik, maybe a couple years ago it would have been better, but I think he's like leaving his prime. And Orobai is not that bad. Like, he had a very good fight against Rebecki. Yeah, he didn't win. He didn't beat Rebecki, but he did hurt him. And his jab, he has a piston of a jab. I could see him putting out Tafik. So I'm going to go Motorbak Orobai here. Then we got Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev. I'm going to go with Curtis Blades. This fight has been booked about 4 or 5 different fucking times. They really want this fight. Like, they have really wanted this fight. Like, look at this. 1, 2. Yeah, I know it says 2 times, but it was booked for the same card twice because like they moved the event around. Then it was booked for that card. Then it got moved again. It's just been booked so many goddamn times. But hopefully we actually get it this time so we can hurry up and move on. But I like Curtis Blades. I picked him when this fight was booked all the other times. I'm going to keep picking Curtis Blades. He's got good takedown defense. Well, even if he doesn't have good takedown defense, Rizvayev is just so slow. He's not a Jailton or Mater who's just going to immediately take down a Blades. Blades is powerful. He's got good boxing. I feel like he'll be able to keep it standing. And on the feet, I just think he will be able to wallop up on Kineev. I don't understand why they're giving him this big step up for his debut. It never ends well. Like, they really want a heavyweight prospect, but maybe, and this is a crazy concept, maybe just build them up a little bit. Let them get their feet wet in the UFC. Don't just throw them to Curtis fucking Blades. How is that ever going to work out well? But yeah, I'm going to say Curtis Blades gets the knockout here. So yeah, I'm going to go Curtis Blades. Then we have Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm going to go with Rafael Fiziev here. I feel like Ignacio Bahamondes is good. Don't get me wrong. He's very good. He's on a good streak of things. Beat Christos Gargios. I always fuck up his name. He beat Manel Torres and he beat Jarlin Turner. Now, Turner, he did not look like he wanted to be in that fight at all. He looked broken. He retired afterwards. He didn't look the same. But again, I think Fiziev would have beat Turner as well. Torres, good win. Torres is athletic, big dude, but very bad striking defense. You're going to get caught by a guy like Ignacio Bahamondes if you fight like a Torres. And then obviously beat Trey Ogden. Not the greatest fight. Lost to Ludovic Klein as well. That's worth mentioning. Very similar type of guy to Rafael Fiziev, I want to say. Except maybe a bit smaller, obviously, because Fiziev tried to make featherweight, but it won't happen for him. But yeah, Ignacio Bahamondes is good. I don't want to go back and say, oh, he lost to John McDessie. He's definitely going to lose this one. Like, obviously, I'm not using that logic here. Roosevelt Roberts, wheel kick, great performance, beat Rongzhu. But I don't know, Fiziev, I know he lost to Justin Gaethje, but it's fucking Justin Gaethje. Short notice. It was a very short notice fight against Gaethje. The first fight, you could argue he beat Gaethje. It was very close. He was beating up on Gamrot, but he injured his leg. No shame in that. He chinned Rafael dos Anjos, which is impressive. Nobody really knocks out dos Anjos. Beat Brad Riddell. Beat King Green. Back and forth scrap. But he won. He destroyed Hanata Moicano, beat Mark DeCasey. beat Alex White. He's got a lot of good wins. He's a better striker, I want to say here. He's the better striker. Ignacio Barmondes is much longer, though. So that could be a factor. But he's not as long as you'd think. Yeah, he's taller, but his reach is only like 4 inches. So it's not like a significant reach advantage. I think he can land big shots on Ignacio, and if it's close, it's in Azerbaijan, so like they'll just give it to Rafael Fiziev. So it's like, you got to go with the more likely option here is either Fiziev puts on a great performance, knocks out Bahamondes, or they have a close tit-tat striking fight, and Rafael Fiziev gets a robbery decision. It is crazy that I am using that as a reasoning, but I am going to use it because I don't care. You got to do what you got to do. Okay, like you got to think outside the box. All right. So I'm going to go Rafael Fiziev here to get this one done. Then we have the main event: Jamal Hill versus Khalil Rountree. Now this is an interesting fight because when this fight was first booked, before Jamal Hill fought Jiri Prohaska, I was like all on the Jamal Hill was going to go in there and beat Khalil Rountree. So I don't think that Khalil Rountree is all that. And I know he had a great competitive fight with Alex Pereira, but like that's just a stylistic matchup he got. Pereira is maybe going to be a bit easier than like some people. Maybe he is more likely to stay not on the back foot, but not be pressuring forward the whole fight. But he did. I will say Rountree exceeded all expectations. I thought that Pereira was going to go forward and just knock him out early because Khalil Rountree's shown not to have like the greatest chin. He's been put out a couple times, but here he is. Here he is main eventing against Jamal Hill. Had a great fight against Pereira. Took so much damage, like his chin is probably compromised. But the thing is, if his chin's compromised, then what the fuck has happened to Jamal Hill? He got knocked down in the first round by Pereira. Then the next fight, he takes an absolute belting by Jiri Prohaska. Dropped 2-3 times, beat up on the ground and pounded, elbowed, hurt, just all over he was literally flopping all over the ground. He was that hurt. I think his chin's probably gone. And the thing is, it's not just a chin thing. He didn't look that great. He's had so many injuries, has Jamal Hill. Torn this, torn that. ACL tear, Achilles heel tear. Like, I don't know. It feels like he's always injured. I'd imagine he's probably going to this one with some sort of injury. The guy just keeps hurting himself. Maybe doesn't look after himself the best out of camp either. I like Khalil Rountree here. I think he's going to the leg kicks are going to come into play. He's going to really stomp on them knees, stomp on them legs, kick up the legs. That's going to be big here. It's going to really hurt the movement of Jamal Hill, whose movement just has looked very laboured lately. His footwork was never the greatest. And I think Khalil Rountree is going to be able to find the chin and he's going to put out Jamal Hill. Now maybe we get a back and forth fight. Maybe we see Jamal Hill like break Khalil Rountree after he has like a good first round or something like that. But I don't know. I like Khalil Rountree to get this one done. So I'm going to go Khalil Rountree by KO. And I think it'll probably be early. I reckon this will be like an early one. He's taken a lot of damage as Jamal Hill. But I don't know, maybe. Like how long ago did he fight Jiri Prohaska? I think it's been 6 months. So that is a good amount of time to come off. Obviously this fight was scheduled for April, like 4 months after. So I do like the June turnaround a bit better than an April turnaround. But still, he's taken so much damage. Like he's just... Yeah, it's a lot of damage. It's going to be a lot of leg kicks as well. So I'm going to go Khalil Rountree. I reckon he's going to get this one done. Who knows? Maybe on a leg kick TKO, like a stomp. I could see he just injures fucking Jamal Hill in the cage. But like he did to Modestas Bukauskas. But yeah, that's my predictions. I apologize. My predictions weren't as good last week. Normally I'm pretty solid. And the fact some people unsubscribe to me is fucking crazy about it. Like I get it. I wasn't in the top predictors, but normally I am, Like, obviously, it's an unpredictable sport. Sometimes maybe you go a little, just sometimes you got to give people the benefit of the doubt. You can't get them all right, But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This event, I will do much better. I'm manifesting it. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe, put on notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Thanks for watching.